A hero's welcome, son. Is that what you'd like? Well, God knows it should be. This time we've paid for the party with our dearest blood.
When it comes to the third installment of a franchise, things might become a bit stagnant. Star Trek's third installment could actually be viewed as the second in a trilogy that actually started in the previous film, Wrath of Khan. The movie got a bad rap because Wrath was so good, and the search for Spock was viewed as something that took away a big set piece from Wrath. But is it actually any good? I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Star Trek: The Search for Spock.
And if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a wagon.
Come, Mr. Scott. Young minds, fresh ideas. Be tolerant.
I'm going to start this review with a massive spoiler warning. If you haven't watched The Wrath of Khan, this review will spoil that movie for you. After Wrath wrapped up and Nicholas Myers was pissed that the door was open to bring back Spock, Harv Bennett, the producer of Star Trek, approached Leonard Nimoy because he has heard that Nimoy was content with leaving the character behind. In fact, Nimoy quite enjoyed the character, but wanted something extra to challenge him. Bennett requested that Nimoy take the reins of the direction for this film, which was centered around the remaining crew. Nimoy agreed and was happy to be behind the camera for the most part.
Bridge, this is the captain. How can you have a yellow alert in space dock?
Sir, someone is stealing the Enterprise.
The search for Spock finds our crew flying back to Earth. Dr. McCoy breaks into Spock's quarters and convinced that the Enterprise has to go back to Genesis. Back on Earth, Kirk receives a visit from Sarek, Spock's father. He is convinced that his son is still alive and must have preserved his essence, or his katra, within his best friend. He mind melds with Kirk and discovers that it's not there.
Outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one.
Meanwhile, Dr. McCoy is trying to find a ship to take him back to the Genesis planet. Such a trip is illegal, and the good doctor is arrested and taken into the Federation custody.
Federation security, sir.
Kirk figures out from the security cameras that Spock's katra is within Bones. He decides to disobey Starfleet and rescue McCoy. His loyal crew helps him, and together they commandeer the Enterprise, sabotage the Excelsior, and set off to the Genesis planet.
Don't call me Tiny.
While all this is going on, a rogue Klingon scout ship, captained by Krug, finds out about the Genesis planet and the potential of the project. They arrive at the planet and engage with a Federation science vessel called the Grissom and sadly destroy it.
Say the wrong thing, Torg! If it's business you want, there are life signs on the planet. Perhaps the very scientists you seek.
Started calling Grissom. Come in, please.
Luckily, Saavik and Kirk's son, David, were down on the planet exploring it, trying to discover this unusual life form. They found out that the planet is unstable, and that life form that they scanned is of Vulcan origin.
So, like your father, you changed the rules.
If I hadn't, it might have been years or never.
Despite the undeserved reputation that this movie receives, it has a distinguished honor of solidifying plenty of firsts on the Star Trek universe. The main ones are the Klingons. Because they play a major role in this movie, Nimoy and the producers wanted them to have a unique language. They brought in a linguist and he built it from the ground up, of course with the help of the main Klingon-speaking actors. Along with the language, the Klingons' background as the honor-based society closer to a samurai culture was set. The forehead ridges that have begun in the motion picture morphed into their final form in this movie from now on. And most famous of all, the Klingon cloaked ship appeared for the first time in this movie. It is weird to think that initially in the script, the Klingons weren't even supposed to be Klingons, there were supposed to be Romulans, and ILM that were brought back to make the effects actually created a Romulan bird of prey, which morphed into the well-known Klingon bird of prey. Christopher Lloyd was cast as Krug, the Klingon captain, as the main villain. Lloyd was known as a comedian from a TV show called Taxi at the time, and Nimoy wasn't sure about the casting. Lloyd proved that he is a serious actor, even though he didn't really enjoy the extreme makeup sessions. Regardless, I believe he did a great job with this part. He didn't have a lot of dialogue, but he did have a fight with Kirk, which is iconic in the Star Trek universe.
We will seize the secret of this weapon. The secret of ultimate power.
In terms of acting, Shatner and DeForest Kelley do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to the trio, since Nimoy is mostly out of commission for the film and for the storyline right up until the very end. And Shatner has the best, most dramatic scene in the movie itself because he faces the hardest and most severe loss.
Klingon bastard, you've killed my son!
Kirstie Alley does not return to reprise her role as Saavik due to contract issues. Mainly, she wanted more money, so she was replaced by Robin Curtis. Saavik gets to experience sort of a role reversal compared to The Wrath of Khan, as she becomes the mentor to the Vulcan that ages rapidly on the Genesis planet.
I don't understand.
Pongfar. Vulcan males must endure it every 7th year of their adult life.
After so many years and several rewatches, I can see why people have problems with this movie. The haphazard way of bringing a dead character back to life probably didn't sit well with a lot of people. I believe that all the fans of Star Trek love the character of Spock, and that's why his death was so significant in The Wrath of Khan. It seems like the executives that pushed for this revival, even before Wrath wrapped up, to have an out to be able to bring back Spock in order to preserve that trio, and in doing so, preserving their precious merchandise.
My father says that you have been my friend. You came back for me.
You would have done the same for me?
I never was a one that thought this movie was bad or mid-tier. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it, and I still enjoy it today. It is hard to recommend this movie as a standalone, like in the case of Wrath of Khan, because it heavily relies on that movie's outcome. But on the whole, it is a great Star Trek adventure that will leave you wanting for more after finishing it.
Your name is Jim.
Yes.
I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, smash that like button to help me out and beat that algorithm. Check out other reviews that I've done in the past, or check out our live Saturday show where we cover all sorts of amazing movies, including this one. And remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.